Hey guys, welcome to another video from J Reviews. So if you're like me and it takes you longer to search for manga than it does to consume it, you're in the right place, as I'll be going through some of the top manga you should be reading in 2020. Okay, so please leave a like down below if you find this video helpful, and please subscribe, as 1, it helps me know if you're enjoying the content I'm making, and 2, you'll get notifications for when my new videos are available. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, but I've been reading Black Clover and really enjoying it. My initial reaction review video is linked above, so do watch that if you're still on the fence whether or not you want to read it. Alright, so while searching for some manga, speaking to different people about recommendations, I came across CBR's website with the top 10 mangas you should be reading in 2020. So I thought we'll go through their list of the top 10 manga, see if I've read any of the mangas that they recommend. Now, I'm not scrolled down and actually seen this list just yet because I wanted to experience this with you guys, and I wanted to give you my initial reactions as we go through it. So, as I say, we'll break it down and we'll go through each of the different mangas that they are recommending. Okay, number 10 is My Hero Academia, and yes, this is a very popular manga. I think it's been popularized even more by its anime. It follows the story of Izuku Midoriya, who is a young boy who lives in a world that's populated by people who have special powers, like superpowers, you can say. Now, these superpowers are known as quirks, and to start off with, Midoriya doesn't actually have any superpowers until he meets like the number one hero who is able to transfer his powers over to Midoriya. Yeah, it's definitely one that I would recommend. Okay, so that was number 10. Yes, number 9 is Vinn Saga. Such a fantastic manga, absolutely amazing. It's in my top 5 of mangas that I've ever read. I'll leave a video link for my top 5 mangas up above. But yeah, Vinn Saga is set in the Vikings age about a young man named Thorfinn, who is the son of a legendary war hero, and unfortunately his father is killed in battle, and Thorfinn sets out on a journey to take revenge for his father's death, and incidentally the person who killed his father, Askeladd, Thorfinn starts to work for him because he's been promised that if he follows Askeladd's orders, they will have a battle to the death. And yeah, it's such a fantastic story. Great manga to get into. Next, number 8, we have Komi Sanwa Komyusho Desu. Okay, so that took a bit of practice, but Komi Sanwa Komyusho Desu. As you can tell, I'm not a native Japanese speaker, so apologies if I've butchered that name. This does look quite interesting. It's seems like it's a manga about high school romance. It says it's a slice of life, a story about a beautiful young girl with an onyx glare, someone who people feel is above their league. So that's interesting. So it seems like this girl, Komi, seems to be quite an arrogant young lady. She probably feels like she's better than everybody else. The truth is that... Oh no, actually that's quite interesting. So the truth is that she's actually very bad at communicating with other people. Okay, so that's quite interesting. So you've got quite a different type of story here, where you've got a girl who others perceive as being quite arrogant, but actually it's just the fact that she can't communicate her views and her points across, maybe in a subtle way. But yeah, so if you're into high school romance and high school lifestyle, then this might be a manga for you. I think for me it's probably one that I'll probably keep on the back of the list for the moment, just to see what else there is available. So let's continue on. Okay, number 7 is Jujutsu Kaisen. So yeah, this is a shonen manga, and it's probably going to be the next best thing. So as I say, I don't know anything about this story, so just reading what it says that the story follows Yuji, a master of track and field, who simply sits around and wastes his ability initially. So I'm assuming that his ability has something to do with that mouth that he has on his hand. His time at the Occult Research Club is mostly spent doing nothing. However, Yuji suddenly decides that the time to slack off has come to an end when Megumi Fugishiro arrives at the club, explaining the presence of cursed objects to him. So that's pretty cool. I mean, he's part of an occult research club, and we have a student who arrives and who can sense cursed objects. And it seems like it's Yuji's task to maybe research into these cursed items. But yeah, it does look like a manga that I definitely want to read. The art just looks fantastic. The story sounds good, so it's probably one that I'm going to be picking up and reviewing soon. Number 6, Fire Force. So yeah, I've heard a lot about Fire Force. Again, don't know anything about it, but yeah, like it says, this manga has been quite popular amongst fans because of the first season of the anime. Oh wow, so this manga is set in a world where people randomly burst into flames and then proceed to die. That's ridiculous. That just sounds crazy. For the purpose of preventing harm, an agency known as the Fire Force works relentlessly to save individuals. Their newest recruit, Shinra is quite strange himself, possessing the ability to produce flames from his feet and set off at rocket-like speeds. Wow. With Shinra in their ranks, the long process of getting to the center of this mystery ensues. So yeah, this definitely looks like another manga that I want to read. Shinra, I'm assuming, is the character in the center. And again, the art looks fantastic as well. Great, so moving on. Number 5 is Kingdom. Yes, Kingdom is definitely a manga that I would recommend. I've only read maybe the first 10 to 12 chapters, and it was very good. I mean, the art style was amazing. It's so beautifully drawn, and it's a fantastic manga. If you're into manga that covers history and war, this is definitely one that I would recommend you to pick up and read. The story focuses on a young boy named Shin. He's a poor boy who has the dream of becoming a great general. Again, I don't want to spoil too much, but it is quite incredible how Shin kind of maneuvers himself and weaves his way into various different positions. As I say, I've not read too much of Kingdom just yet, but from what I've read, it is a brilliant manga and one that I would definitely recommend. But yeah, I've heard reviews about its anime, which isn't that great, so I would probably stay away from the anime and stick with the manga. But yeah, it's one that I would definitely recommend you to read. Okay, so moving on. Number 4 is Demon Slayer. Okay, so again, manga that I've heard of, but don't know much about. So CBR is saying that it's probably the best new anime in 2020. And the manga has been nothing short of fantastic for quite a while now. So that just suggests that it has been out for some time. But it's probably like Berserk, where the anime starts off from the beginning, it takes you to a certain point, and then you've got to continue from the manga, and it only gets better. So I'm assuming it's probably something similar to Berserk in that sense. The story is about a young boy from a peaceful village known as Tanjiro. He's a coal seller. To their dismay, his entire family is slaughtered by demons, except for his little sister, Nezuko. To add salt to the wound, Nezuko is somehow turned into a demon. Oh goodness. Tanjiro now sets out on an adventure to restore his sister back to normal and get revenge on the demons. Yeah, okay, so this is definitely one that I want to read. Sounds very similar to Berserk in the sense that it's a revenge story. It has demons. So the premise is there for me to probably put this in front of Jujutsu Kaisen. This does sound like a very good story, so glad it was on the list. It was number 4, so definitely will be checking this one out. Okay, so moving on to number 3 is Berserk. Fantastic. I mean, for me, Berserk would probably be number 1. It's the go-to manga. It's my number 1 recommended manga. I would highly recommend you to read this. The story of Berserk is just incredible. It's a story about Guts and his struggle through so much pain and misery. And obviously, as a disclaimer, I would definitely say that it is for a more mature audience. It is a seinen manga, so of course it is intended for adult and mature audiences. I'm not going to say anything about it because it is one that, you know, I want you to read. Okay, so moving on from Berserk. Number 2 is Attack on Titan. So yeah, another very popular manga, very popular anime. And if you haven't read or seen this anime, it's really about humanity and how they are trying to survive within walls that have been set up to save them from these flesh-eating giants known as Titans. Now, even though their freedom was taken away from them, they do have, you know, the privilege of living safely, as CBR has put it. They've been living in these walls for about 100 years or so, and the story follows Eren Yeager and his quest to find out the truth about Titans. The story is incredible. I have to admit, I've been reading the manga, I'm up to date on it, but maybe the last 20 or so chapters, it's become quite confusing, to be honest. And I'm not really sure what's going on, to be honest. I probably need to go back and reread you know, the latest chapters. But if you do follow it, it does have a rich story and one that is quite unique. Again, I would definitely recommend it, but I wouldn't put it over Berserk. I think Berserk would definitely be, you know, a higher recommendation from me than Attack on Titan. Okay, so let's move on to the number 1 manga. So the number 1 manga that CBR recommends everybody should read is, surprise, surprise, it's One Piece. Not much to say about One Piece. It is probably the biggest shonen manga right now, as CBR has put it, probably ever. The manga follows the adventures of Monkey D. Luffy, a boy who aims to become the king of pirates. He sets up a crew of pirates who are on their journey to find the lost treasure of Gold Roger. What One Piece does really well is telling a variety of different stories. There are so many different arcs with so many different things happening, but they all weave together brilliantly. I myself was a huge fan of One Piece. I've been reading it for quite some time. I think I'm on the 600th chapter, but it's a very long manga. It's probably one of the longest running mangas right now. Maybe I should have expected One Piece to be right at the top. So if you don't know anything about One Piece, personally, I would probably recommend you to watch the anime first, maybe just to get through the first 2 or 3 arcs. It gives you a flavor of what One Piece is all about, and then move to the manga, because the anime has so many fillers, and it does take a long time to get through various different arcs, whereas the manga is very well paced, and I think you'll enjoy it. Alright, so that was it for this video, the top 10 manga that you should be reading in 2020. So how many of these mangas have you read? Have you read all of them? Have you read a few of them? Leave a comment down below telling me how many of these mangas you've read. Any comments about Demon Slayer or Fire Force or Jujutsu Kaisen would be really appreciated, because, as I say, those are my top 3 manga that I want to get into right now, with Demon Slayer probably being at the top of the list, followed by Jujutsu Kaisen and then Fire Force. Thanks for watching, and as always, please subscribe to my channel for more manga and anime reviews.